Hello, friends. Welcome to Advanced. Today we are talking about our friend, the sun.
Here comes the sun.
And
it's hot.
It is. I don't know if you're watching this from Taipei. Thank you to all of you who came out to see the show in Aichichen yesterday and on Saturday. It was really nice to meet some of you in person and to hear how your English is doing. Your English is sounding great, so keep up the good work. We were really happy that we could celebrate our boss, Doris Pengmeng Hui, with a musical about her life story. If you missed it, it was at Sun Yat-sen Memorial Hall. And it was, thanks to the sun, a very toasty weekend. Toasty is an English word that I like to use to describe the weather.
Yeah, it means it's warm. You think of a toaster, right?
Yep.
It gets hot, so that's the idea, toasty.
Yeah, the word toast, just while we're on talking about English, the word toast can also describe bread, like mianbao, that's been put into a toaster. That is also toast. You could also give a toast, totally different meaning. If I was at your wedding and I said, hey, toast, here's to the new couple, that would be giving a toast, and everyone drinks or clinks their glasses.
Yeah.
So we did some toasts after the show.
Absolutely.
Celebrating at a restaurant.
Yes.
But all
Lots
that to
of
say,
uses of toast.
Yeah.
English is confusing.
But we were talking about how the sun, it gets pretty toasty. You can say, I got toasted by the sun the other day if you got like sunburn. Or roasted.
Roasted, toasted.
But getting roasted by the sun is no joke. The sun puts out a lot of energy, way more than most solar panels can really use. But we want to talk today about solar panel technology and hopefully give you some English to work with when we're talking about the semiconductors used in solar panels. Did you know that there are semiconductors in solar panels?
I probably have learned that at some point, but thanks for reminding me of it. Those things are everywhere and very important.
They are. Now, back in the States, a lot of people get solar panels on their roof. You can just sign up with a private company and get it. Do you have family or friends from church back home that use solar panels?
So this is not very common where I come from. I come from the southern part of the U.S., live in a rural area. However, my parents, they were just visiting in Taipei just a few months ago, and they were telling me this man at their church designed this for his own home. He has solar panels, solar energy, all this stuff. He learned about it or knew about it and was able to design that. So
incredible.
I think that's pretty incredible to be able to do that yourself.
Yeah, he must have been some sort of an electrical engineer.
Probably. Yeah. But I think the thing I always, we always want to be concerned about is having enough sunshine, right?
Yeah.
Maybe in some parts of the world, right, you don't have enough sunshine. But there are so many different types of clean energy now. Or not so many, but a few different kinds. And hopefully combining those will help us to, have a cleaner planet, right?
Yeah, while we're talking about this, let's put up our poll and see what you think. Which energy source is the best? An energy source is how energy is generated and put onto the grid, G-R-I-D. The grid is the system of electricity in a city or any kind of, really anywhere. But an electrical grid has a power source, and then it goes to businesses and homes. So what energy source is the best? Is it the solar panel? Is it wind farms, wind turbines, or classic gas and coal in fire-burning plants? Or nuclear power, which is very popular, obviously has some risks to it.
And controversial, right?
Very controversial, but has been classically a way to generate a lot of power. All right, what do you think? The polls are coming in. Solar power, nuclear are in the competition. If you're just chiming in, make sure to go to our poll. Well, friends, let's talk for a second about solar power. I'd love to hear you and your English. Let's go to our discussion question for today. Our discussion question for today is, what do you think about this solar power? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, and what are some of the benefits of it? Or maybe there are some problems associated with it. You could let us know your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah. So some quick English words for solar powers. We do a lot of semiconductors in Taiwan. We do them very well. And semiconductors can be used for all kinds of things. There's an English term, component parts. A component is a part of really anything else. I could say the components to a magazine are paper and a little bit of glue and some staples. These are the component parts. Component means put together from Latin. So a semiconductor is a component part for computer technology or transistor technology, other kinds of electrical technology. In solar panels, I feel like we should all learn more about solar panels. I don't remember learning about them in school, but I was a drama major. So were you a science major?
You had all that energy. You didn't need the extra. I was not a science major. In fact, I think biology was one of the toughest subjects I took in college.
Yeah.
But I'm a little older than you, so maybe solar panels weren't as popular when I was in high school. But
just dinosaur.
It was a long time. I'm sure we learned about
the dinosaur on.
I'm sure we learned about it. Yeah. But they are important. Like I think we asked about that in our poll, John.
Yeah.
And one thing you were talking about before we got on air today is and we see this in the picture here in our April magazine, is the amount of land it can take up could be an issue, right?
Right.
And so that's a problem. Like there's seems to be always some sort of sacrifice, but you have to look at the whole picture, right?
Yeah. For solar power, you have to find land. Zoning for solar power, zoning, ZONING, means to basically decide where you're going to build things. So some land in Taiwan is zoned for only agriculture or farming. Agriculture means farming. And some of it is zoned only for business or commercial. We don't have a lot of extra space in Taiwan.
But some rooftops. I saw some yesterday. I was at church yesterday, and we meet up in a high-rise building, and I was looking out, and I saw some solar panels. I saw some rooftop gardens. Some people are utilizing space, right? And so that's a way of having solar panels as well.
That's right. I really love solar panels, so I'm excited to talk about how they help. But let's just start with some of the negatives, and then we can talk about the positives. One negative is that solar panels are very vulnerable. Vulnerable means easy to be hurt. Yeah. And so they're very vulnerable to typhoons, to big storms. They can take a lot of damage, and they're pretty expensive initially or at first. Initially, they're expensive to put in. And if you had a typhoon and you damaged your solar panels in the first year, you might lose a lot of money. So companies think about this sort of thing. Solar panels are a great, clean way to get energy.
It's almost like sometimes, John, a lot of the clean energy is good, but it can be used in a supplemental way until it becomes more sustainable over time. I'm not an expert. That's just some of my observations.
Yeah, that's certainly where we're at right now. We wish sometimes we could, no one would burn coal anymore, and then our air pollution would go way down, God willing, but it's not all that easy. Taiwan is transitioning to a lot of wind power. A wind turbine, turbine is connected to that word turbo, which is like a jet engine, but a wind turbine spins. And in Taiwan, we do a lot of offshore wind turbines.
Yeah, I've seen some of those down in Kending. I've also, John, seen these small ones in river streams. And you have some sort of wind energy as well.
A current within the river itself.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a very popular way. Really quick, Pre-C, thanks for commenting. Fragile is a perfect word for that. Solar panels can be very fragile. And because of material scientists that are improving the materials, solar panels are becoming stronger. A solar panel is made up of either 1 or 2 layers of clear silicone. Silicone is a see-through plastic material. And inside the silicone are 1 to 2, for each solar cell, each piece, there is a semiconductor. There is an electrical wire, basically, that turns the light from the sun directly into electricity. So as more sun hits the wire, it basically heats up and creates an electrical current that is then harvested or collected in a battery. I really don't know too much about how the I'm not an electrical engineer, but that's basically the idea. Clear silicone with a semiconductor underneath that catches the electricity. So they can be fragile, but they're getting stronger thanks to technology. Anyway, so wind power is a big one in Taiwan. I've got some friends that work in offshore wind energy.
Yes.
And there's a lot of construction going on right now in Taiwan. All right, we've got our question for today. If you're just joining us, we'd love to hear your thoughts on solar power. Do any of you use solar power, or have you seen it used in creative ways? Do you have any technology that uses solar power, like a rechargeable radio?
I don't think I do, John.
But I don't either, no. But I've seen that kind of thing.
Yes.
For camping or for a car. There was a time in grad school that I decided, I had plenty of work. Oh, Luna, I have seen some buildings in southern Taiwan install solar panels. I heard the collected solar energy can be sold to Taiwan Power. That's right. A lot of power companies will actually pay local people to harvest solar energy. And it's one way of encouraging homeowners to get solar panels.
That makes a lot of sense. It's really smart.
Yeah. I used to work for a solar company, actually, very, very briefly.
Look at this guy.
Very briefly. I had a job, but I was in Los Angeles. Rent was getting expensive, so I decided to get a second job. And I worked for a solar company as basically someone that would knock on doors in neighborhoods and just say, hey, have you heard about solar? Let's get a meeting set up. So I was kind of the first person, and I knocked on hundreds of doors. And so that was a lot of fun. Also very difficult. Producing solar panels, Brian, you say it requires lots of resources, making it hard to get costs down for developing countries. Good point. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's very true, Brian, the point that you bring up. And cost is always an important factor, right? If you can't get the cost down, it's not as accessible to people, and that is kind of the situation we're in, but I think we've made up for a lot of lost ground. Like, we've made a lot of progress over the years.
Yeah, so prices are going down, but they're for a complicated technology, you'll always run into these supply chain issues and cost issues. Well, think it through. We'd love to hear more about what you think. Feel free to comment later when we post this on YouTube. It looks like our poll has a winner. We've been talking about it. The winner is solar panels. Wind power has a little bit, and nuclear. Gas and coal, we all use it, but we wish we did less. Thank you for joining in today.
Before we go today, John, I want to remind you to pick up your May magazine. And I want to say hello to, I don't know your name, but your handle is NOGI007. We'll just call you 007. Thank you for joining us here on Advanced and becoming a member. If you are watching and you have not yet become a member, please join today. It's only $199 NT a month, and you get some extra content, including radio programs, more access to our radio programs, and you know you want that.
Check it out, NOG. Let us know how you like it. If you have any feedback for that, we always want to improve here at Advanced. Check out those chocolate. Those are cacao.
Yes.
Cacao nuts right there from Hawaii. This is a really great article. Check it out. All right. We love you guys. Thank you. Keep practicing your English. You guys sounded great. It was nice to meet you in person.
See you.